Hey everybody, I'm excited about today's digital lesson. We did a digital lesson last week, and now we're going to do a digital lesson this week. We're going to use the same two free resources, which is Sketchpad and Fresh Artist Workshop. So Fresh Artist Workshop we use for the images, and Sketchpad we use as the digital program, the graphic design program. I am excited about this because I love the subject matter. The subject matter is under the sea, which is awesome. And we're gonna take these images, we can place them in that game, that memory game, which is also another cool thing. The other thing I wanted to mention is I saw that our community has started on YouTube, which is super exciting to Miss Tate and I, that the students were talking together and they were helping one another out on YouTube on our actual videos. And I just wanted to shout out just Catherine and Jayana, because they did an awesome job helping one another, and I thought what a positive way to help one another, because I wanted to talk about that. Social media, we're all using social media platforms like more than we ever did before. So in saying that, I want to say that the fact that Jayana helped out just Catherine in a positive way on that social media platform, because we use Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, all these different things, and the fact that they were being positive, thinking about what they're saying, being caring, not being negative, I just want to give those two shout outs, because what an awesome job that was. I was so proud of you, and I want people to use that example, because whatever you post on Facebook, whatever you post on Instagram, whatever you post on Google or YouTube, you never know. There's a screenshot out there, or it's always there. So I want you to keep that in mind when you're posting. Make sure it's positive and helpful. And I would love to see artwork posted. I would love to see what you thought about the lesson, or questions. I love those questions. Keep them up. So without further ado, I want to start because this is so cool. I can't wait to get to it. And let's do this. Trautz here. Today we're going to go over the free resources that we went over last time for our digital artwork. I'm going to open up Chrome because my students are using Chromebooks, and this way it's easier because it's one of the same browsers you're using. So up here in the address bar, I'm going to type in the URL, the address, freshartist.org. So there it is. I'm going to hit return. Once I'm there, I can see what we were talking about last time. But if this is your first time looking at this, because maybe you're not one of my students, you're just doing this digital art just to have fun and to have something to do, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to reiterate some of the things that I did last time. So right here, you can see we have for kids and parents. So first we go to freshartist.org. I'll have that larger for you. And then we hit for kids and parents. So we're going to hit for kids and parents. 3 things pop up automatically. So we have the Hydros project. We talked about that last week, but what it is Fresh Artists. They joined forces with, we'll look into it just real quick, just so you can get a visual. So they joined forces with marine biology, and it's all about under the sea. So you can read a little bit about that. This is a great resource. So this is a great resource because it has all these free, beautiful images, and they are fantastic. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing, I'm going to go back just to show you exactly where that link was one more time. We have for kids and parents. I keep going back to that. We have the matching game. I talked about that last week. I'm going to talk a little bit about that too now. The matching game, hit play and submit. And as you can see, you can upload. We are going to upload your artwork, and they accept. You can even upload yourself, and then Fresh Artist looks for it. And we'll do play games. And just for an example, I'll go play now. I'm no good at this. We figured that out last week. My memory is totally bad. So there's the flower. Nope. There we go. There's one. So those 2 items went away because I remembered that those 2 were in this area. So I'm going to go back to games. It's going to show other options. Now that I showed you what the matching game was, and people can actually upload their artwork, Fresh Artists will go through the artwork and they will figure out if it is appropriate for one of the games, and then they'll make you a game. It's pretty awesome. So to make some of this artwork, my students are sending me digital art, and how we're doing that is we're using this free resource over here for images, and the subject matter is under the sea because we have all these free resources. This is some of my students won this packet for all their hard work and grit. I was super excited about it, and that packet has been sent out. But if people want to buy the packet, it's right here. It's really awesome. It's this weekend art kit, and it shows, this is some of the artwork that you can make with the kit. So that's another resource for you. But back to the Hydros project, I'm going to click in the Hydros project. And when I do that, I come up to these galleries. I'm going to go to the Newbie Branch gallery, and when I go down and I scroll, I had picked this image out before because I wanted to show you how to trace in Sketchpad, the other program that we're going to be using. So when I look at this image, I think to myself, this is the image that I want to use. So I'm going to just drag and drop it to my screen, and that's what I did. So it's there. People using Chromebooks from school or other resources, just save it to your iPads, iPhones. You can save it to your photo and then bring it into Sketchpad. Chromebooks, you can save it into Photos or the area My Google Docs, and then you can bring it into Sketchpad. So now that we've found our free resource, and you take a look at all these images, because I'm going to ask that your end result is 3 images, and I'm going to teach you how to save that too. So 3 images. So just look through it and figure out 3 images that you would like to use. Again, you don't have to use this gallery. You can use the fish gallery. That's right up here. And you can draw one of these digitally also. So the other free resource that I love to use, and I have all these open up in my windows, and I'm just going to leave them here so I can go back and forth if I feel like it, is Sketchpad. And to get to Sketchpad, I type in sketchpad, not .com. I'm going to delete that. And then that brings me to 5.1, and that's the one I want to use. One of my students mentioned on Facebook that they couldn't get to Sketchpad because it was locked, but then the other student talked, Jayana, shout out to Jayana again, she was speaking to Just Catherine and said, hey, you need to use 2019. So make sure you're on 2019. I thought that was awesome that they were helping each other out. So here I have an old image that I was working on last week. And this leads me to be able to show you how to start a new document. So right down here, it says new. I'm going to click new. I'm going to click blank image and create. So now I have this blank square right here. It's a square because last time it was a square. Yours might be a rectangle, and I will show you how to crop that also for this square. Now, I want to bring an image here. So I'm going to my desktop and I'm dragging it. It says drop files here. Here's the file that I wanted to use. Here it is. We're going to go over a few tools. So the selection tool, it's right here. I have that selected. I can click on an image and enlarge it. You can see these anchor points come out and they allow me to enlarge my image. So I'm going to draw it this large. So I'm just enlarging it a bit. I'm taking it from the corner. Great. So now I know that I have this white background. That leads us to talk about layers. So layers right here, you can see it goes up. You can see that little, the red tag that says layers right here. That's where I want to be because I want to see my layers. So I'm going to click on layers. And I want to show you that you can hide a background, bring it back up, and see the art on the page, and then delete it, or not see it, not delete it, but not see it, okay? So that you can work on different things. So here we have the background, and you can't see that, but I put a line through the eye here stating that I don't want to see that. Now if I want to go to my artwork and I click on the eye, I can't see it. So we'll get rid of that text. So I can't see it, and now I can see it. Okay, so I wanted to show you that's how layers work. If I wanted to draw on this layer, I'm going to go to the art area, and now I'm going to go back to my tools. So I'm going back to my tools now. I'm still going to use the calligraphy tool, and I'm going to, when I click on the calligraphy tool, it brings up a bunch of other drawing tools, okay? So this is, it says choose a brush in red because it's showing you that these are all my options. But I wanted to show you that this is really cool because you can have the image there and you can trace on top to get me that artwork that you want. You can make it your own, change it up. But I wanted you to know that this is fine using these tools. This is good practice to use these tools and draw this way. So what I want to do is I want to use I will use this. See how this brush works out. Again, my colors are right here. I have this brush up, okay? I have the fill, it's off. I'm going to let that fill be on. Actually, I'm going to turn that off again. Sorry, guys, going to turn that off because I want to use the outline just to draw so you can see it. So here, I have a lot of dark in this creature. So I am going to click on that. And you can't see it really well, but it is able to trace and draw right over top of the drawing. I am going to draw it right on the green so you can see it. So at home, when you're drawing, you're going to be able to see it much better because you'll be up close. But you can see, in fact, let me see if I can select that so you can see it more and change the color of this outline. Let's see. Yup, it changes the color. So I'm going to go to gray so you can see where I drew, and I'll do purple so you can see that too. You can see where my outline is. I'm going to switch it back to black. A darker, it's almost black. Okay, now for these shapes, say I want to change my colors that I'm using with this brush. I would go to outline, click it, and this green looks similar to this green, but you don't have to use the same color. It's just, oh, that changed it up. So edit, undo, which is Control Z on a Mac, and I believe it is Command Z on the Chromebook. I'll have to, or it's Command or Control. So I'll have to figure that one out. Again, I have to have the keyboard in front of me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is keep on drawing and adding more, I can go to the selection tool just to make sure I'm not selecting any of this. Go back to that streamer brush, and then I'm going to click a color. So I'm going to go here, and then you can see my color. All right. So I am going to stop there so you can use some of these brushes and play with this and play with the image, and then I'm going to continue to work so you can see my final product. All right. Up our actual image here, and I want to focus on layers, because the layers, they show the background, which is white, they show the drawing on top, and then they show the it's clip art under the layers. But we're going to be looking at it as if, yes, this is our art that we're tracing over top of. So how we get to all this is we go back to layers, and you can see that it's highlighted in red. I click on it. You can see all of my brush strokes from the streamer brush. So now I'm going down to my clip art, which is my art. You see that little eyeball? I'm going to turn it off. So now I can see the background is checkered because I have the background turned off. It's not white. If I want that background on, all I have to do is click on that for the eye, because the eye brings up the artwork. But then if you click on it and there's a line going through it, then you will no longer have that layer shown. So as you can see, here's all my marks, and my undersea creature is starting to form. I'm tracing him, of course, with my streamer brush. That's the brush I chose to use. You can use whatever you want. As you can see, they're all here, and you can turn them on and off too. You can see that happening right there, but I'm going to leave them all on. I am now going to turn on my clip art again, my image that I brought in, because I want to be able to trace some more. So I'm just turning it on, but eventually we'll get rid of that for good. So I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to forward my drawing so that I don't take up too much of your time, and I'm excited for the next step. So here's the example of the drawing. All right, here we go. So I want to make sure you know how to add the background in. So how we do that is we're going to go to layers. This is tools. We're going to move down to layers. That's layers. You can see the little red little key right up there. So I click on layers, and I go all the way down. You can see all my brush strokes again right here on the streamer tool, and that's the tool I chose to use. So now I'm going to click off of the clip art, and you can see that the majority of my underwater sea creature is done. So now I'm going to go back up to tools right here, and I'm going to use a shape. This is just the way I like to do it. You can also use the paint brush tool, the vector. It's not a paintbrush, it's a paint fill tool. It's called the vector fill, but it looks like a little paint bucket. So you can click on that, and you can go to the fill and pick a color, and I'm gonna pick like a greenish gradient. So there's radial gradients, there's linear, I'm going to keep it on that, and then there's flat color. And I'm going to keep it on a linear gradient, and it's like a darker one. So there's my, so there we are. We have, I just used the paintbrush. Now, if you want to use a shape to do it, you would click on the circle tool, go to your options, do a square, and same thing, there you go. Now you see my gradient here is covering the whole thing. I can send that to the back. So click on it, hit editing, and send to back. So that's another way of doing it. So I want to click on that though, and I want my fill to be like a darker color. Nope. You can play with yours. I actually think that dark green looks more like the image, but the gray gives it a nice contrast. So I'm gonna keep on the gray, and then I'm gonna leave this as is for right now. But I do see a few holes that I have now that the clip art, the actual image that I was tracing, is not there. So I'm gonna go back to my tools. Here they are. I'm going to click on the brush again, and I am going to click on the darker, so dark gray that it's almost black, and I'm just going to fill in those areas without anything. I can make my brush size smaller. This is just me doing my final touches. I also think that I want to use some shape to create bubbles like I did last time. So I'll go to the shape tool. I will pick my options, go to the circle, and I just want to do an outline in blue like I did last time. So I'm going to get rid of this fill, and there's my little bubbles. I love that. Just adds a little flair, I think. And I'm going to lead it down to this little guy. And then I want to do a little bubble in between the bubbles so they look more real. And you can use your shape tools any way you want. Outlines, you can draw designs in the background. I'm going to ask that my students, they make me 3, save them as JPEG. So we're going to go over how to save right now, and this will be the end so you can start. You should have been you could have worked like this whole time. You could go back, pause it, whatever you need to do. That's the cool thing about having videos. So those, I'm going to leave it like this for right now, and then I'm going to save. So in order to save, I am going to go down to the disk. It says export. I'm going to click on exporting, and then I am going to hit save JPEG. That's the easiest way to get it to me. Now, I don't know why it changed certain things, but I wouldn't worry about that right now. I'm going to play around with that later. Oh, it put it on cutout for some reason. So I'm going to edit undo. Saved it. Oh, the fill. So I'll play with that later, but I just want you to know how to save it. We don't want this on cutout. So save. And again, save it as a JPEG. And then that, you're going to have to name it. So you're going to double click on it to name it. There it is. It comes up. You should have the same, be able to open it. And just put your name on it. So I'm just going to put Miss Trautz. And that's saved correctly. So that's good. And it's going to my downloads. Just check where it's going. I want it to my desktop. And that's it. It's now saved to my desktop. So the file is actually right here. All right. So I want you to enjoy yourself. Give me 3 pieces. Go to Fresh Artist and go to any of these galleries to pick out. You could go to Coral Reef, any of them. Look through images. You could even do textures like this and draw over top of them. Go back for the drag and drop process, or you might have to import the image to sketchpad if you're on a Chromebook. Depends. So let me see them,
and you can post them to the YouTube channel too. All right. I hope everyone has a great time. I love and miss my students and all of you out there who are watching this video. I hope you're happy, you are safe, and you are with some loved ones. All right. Have a great day.